first thing we've got to do is get comfortable. And I'm starting this morning with my right leg is positioned on top of a stand, and it's probably 7 inches high. My other leg is at sort of almost a 45. I've heard people talk about belts and loose clothing, and you can really, when you sit down for a proper practice session, you can really notice that if your clothes are a little bit tight after years of living an adult American foodie life, you might consider your wardrobe before you practice, your practice wardrobe routine. Now I'm completely cold. I'm going to let the heaters run because it's chilly up here in the Northeast. I'm not going to tune to anything except for this guitar's A string because there's no need. I'm not playing with anyone else. I'm not using we're not studying any songs. So if you want to play along with me on this video, this is a good opportunity to get in tune. But we're talking about the G chord today specifically for a friend who recently commented on a recently uploaded video. And if you want to comment on this video too, to just let me know what you think and how, if this is effective kind of thing for you or not, if it's too fast or too slow. I mean, it's really important that I'm going at your rate of speed, right? So obviously you don't want to watch me practice every day, but I've never given you a window into what I actually do for a practice routine, which is, you know, it's definitely challenging to fit into an adult life. So that's almost in tune. And don't forget to breathe. Posture is important, and it's important to keep breath separate from our approach to the guitar. I feel like the metronome's just a little bit loud, so I'm going to take that down. I don't want to start out the day just kind of ripping away here. I want to focus on my breath. I want to think about, I want to study the G chord today. And maybe I'm brand new to the G chord, so I'm going to take it easy. But I'm starting about 9th position. My fingers aren't there, it's cold, they haven't stretched yet. And I'm thinking about one note per beat for a little bit here. 60 notes or 60 beats or tacks per minute. And this is similar to where we would be walking down the road on a relaxed afternoon, maybe some sunshine. Brick buildings on each side, concrete and pavement, and it's a nice afternoon. I'm going to do this until I feel like I'm actually into my practice session. And then at that point, I can start thinking about altering my program, and maybe instead of using all downstrokes, I could use all upstrokes when I reach the halfway point. Let's use all upstrokes here in a second. But I'm still focusing on breath. And tempo as two separate things. And this is the secret, I think, to beginning a guitar practice routine that isn't going to kill you over the years. I want to become so focused on tone production here that I'm conscious of the pick that we're using, and the pick is so important. And I know this is probably painfully slow for some of us, but maybe we got to a point in our careers where we sort of overlooked tone production. And if we're going to rethink our program as an advancing player, and I know many advancing guitar players are advancing because they're aware of tone production and the importance of it in everyday life. I'm getting to the point where I can control my breath here, and I'm reaching also, I'm not sure if this is part of the program at 60 notes per minute. We've got our halfway point, which is fret number 1, or position number 1. And then we also have achievement, just in our breath control. We don't have to breathe quickly, but we have to breathe fully. And posture is also an important thing to maintain. Tightening the abdomen and having the abdomen support the back, the lower back, is going to be important. And again, this is not something you need to do. I'm doing all upstrokes now, so if I forget to do upstrokes all the way up to position 9 again, just let me know and I'll go ahead and make sure to properly scold myself. So we've got achievement here, all upstroke. Again, we don't have to do this kind of thing. But if you spend 5 minutes a day, every day, getting to know yourself or remember yourself at 60 beats per minute, whether you're a guitar player, an astrophysicist, a psychologist, an anthropologist, many of us already understand and have reaped the benefits of understanding the tempo and control of two separate continuums, because there's something that's going to happen inevitably, right? Beyond our control, and that is the 60 notes. And, until my battery runs out, or until, the end of the days come. The quarter note is set to 60 beats per minute, and I know that I can count on, literally, having one attack per second. So this is how our days are measured, at 60 beats per minute. This might be a pretty important tempo to become intimately familiar with. Now, I have friends who start up this practice routine at 100 beats per minute, and they go right to 100 because they're so at a different place where they're maintaining speed and altitude, and they're almost battling against this mechanism. Their work is to beat the metronome, to beat time. But time is a constant, and I like to think about things like that to get me back into the perspective of playing the guitar. Even though I'm taking it slowly, I can still feel the differences in each pick, because I'm not fully warmed up yet. A little lighter on the second one. It's important to explore the full range, the dynamic range of the instrument, because we don't always have to be playing it like it's a cannon. wouldn't it be cool if it were? Firing little cannonballs of guitar everywhere. Now I'm thinking about the G chord still. I'm not totally warmed up. I'm not going to take us through, I won't take us through the entire warm up, but I want to think about this chord we call G. Alright, so we've got this nice chord called G, and we've got second finger on low E string on fret number 3, finger 1 on fret 2 on the A string, open D, and then open G, and then open B, and then 3rd fret on the high E string with finger number 3. And I'll go ahead and do arpeggiate my way through the chord is what I was going to say. And once I understand that I don't have any... Oh, what happened here? Oh, the fat part of my second finger needs to be rolled up and off the string, right? And once I get a clear understanding of maybe I want to also reverse arpeggiate, I have a pretty clear understanding that the chord is going to sound good. Now I can strum it, right? So we don't need to really practice the chord at all. We just need to practice getting there one time for this exercise. So we'll start the day warming up. We'll continue the day warming up with strum pattern. And I'm holding my pick like this. And I've got my thumb, my index and middle fingers on either side, and the thumb sort of holding it almost at a 45 in the middle, just pressing it against the other two fingers. And that gives us a really good, soft approach to the G chord to start. So I'm really going to focus on not beating the snot out of the guitar. I'm also going to focus on where am I strumming the guitar. And after I strum, am I hitting the pick guard or the guitar, or am I following straight down through the plane of the strings, running parallel to the top of the guitar? And I can also come over here for a little bit to deepen the sound a little bit. And if you really listen to that, you can really enjoy the difference, the absence of certain frequency ranges. But I'm going to find a nice medium place to pluck today. There's a strum. 2, and my body is already wandering away from 60 beats per minute, but we'll continue along just strumming. Now we're going to add one upstroke. I like to work in 7 for some reason. I like to work a lot in 5s and 7s. So every 2 bars, we'll do an 4 and 1 with the right hand, and try to get each strum sounding exactly like the previous ones. You can hear my right hand technique is all over the place with this. I'm not using any pressure on the right hand at all. But I'm just using that. I'm allowing my right hand to fall down through the string set, and then also come up through the string set at the same dynamic level. I might be bouncing these around. We might not always be on 4. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. So that's pretty cool. Now what we can do is break that apart, stretch the fingers out a little bit because we've done some work now. So we're just going to go quickly and do those essential stretching techniques. And this isn't going to take a long time. It should be 30 seconds in each position, but right now, I know you probably, as much as you want to watch all of that, I don't think you need to. But just remember that as you pass through that, to breathe in and breathe out. Just like when we're a student of Miyagi. Okay, that's probably it for me. So I'm just going to jump back into the G chord. But this time you probably noticed we're starting with the last 3 fingers. Instead of the first 3 fingers, we're going to use the last 3 fingers. Because we have a 4th finger, we need to get used to that, working with that as well. 3, 2, 3, 2. Here, I start rushing already. And once I realize, I'm good to go, I have everything fingered properly, I can start do 2, 3, 4, and 1. I can start that pattern again on the guitar. But this time I'm going to take it a little step further. I'm going to take that, we'll come back to counting again in a minute, but we're going to take that 2nd finger off. We're going to lean that 3rd finger down and over, and we're going to use 2 middle strings, 3rd, actually the D, G, and B strings are all open, and then we're using fret 3 on the high E string. Cool? Okay? That frees up the 2nd finger to jump on fret 2 on the D string, and then the open G string is played the same, and then, but we add that 1st finger on fret number 1 on the B string. And what a beautiful sound that is. Like how many times have you heard that wonderful sound? Oh man, too many times to count. Now you know how to play it. I'll give you a second to go ahead and play it right now, if you remember it. I've got to have a drink. And I know that's a fascinating thing to watch and hear. So I'm just going to leave everything in here this morning. And so I have a napkin over here just in case I wanted to clean that up. That's a guitar cloth though. Last 3 fingers, and there's a special reason to continue this in your life too. The guitar really needs care every time we use it, so we're going to hang on to that. So last 3 fingers, and then we have removed the 2nd finger, right? So we can add that to fret 2 and fret number 1 on the B string with finger 1. And then we have a really little out of tune guitars. A little better, but See, the guitar is coming to life with us too this morning, so we need to continue checking the tuning. We're going to run with that. 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's start right here. 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2. Let's just try that a little bit without me jumping all over it. 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. application of the pick sequence, or where you're going through the strings. And just experiment with the angle of the pick while we're engaged with exercises like this, which is they're designed to improve tone. And let's get to know the chord that we want to get to know, you know, get a little bit more familiar with what's going on with the G chord. So I'm going to remember that I have that playing in the background. And while I'm doing that, I'm also going to play through the minor pentatonic or the G major pentatonic. See, if we don't practice this tempo, how are we ever going to practice at a higher tempo? I mean, my dynamics are all over the place. I'm just slamming around, slamming that high E string. I don't need to do that. So this time around, I'm going to focus on getting from my strum grip to my pick grip. So I'm going to leave that extra upstroke strum pattern out of the situation so that I can get the pick in that eighth note back and ready and into the pick grip. That or I just wait. You know, wait on the single note line. So we can have a ton of fun with that. You know, that G chord. And then that C chord with the G and the bass that happens on beat 4 every 2-bar, at the end of every 2-bar pattern. But we don't want to smash the heck out of it because it's just, sometimes we get excited because we're going to play 2 notes in a row and then we get going fast or we get really loud, and that sort of disrupts the beauty of the entire passage. So I was early back to the G chord. Anyway, so that's what's going on there. That's what I would practice if I was really approaching one chord. I would give myself this amount of time every day to getting this rhythmically correct. And I am so glad that you're watching, and I'm so glad that you're playing the guitar. And just keep me posted on what you'd like to see. You know, if you want to see more of this kind of thing, I'm very happy to provide this kind of thing because there's so much to talk about. And I guess what I'm going to do is say, again, thanks for visiting and thanks for coming by. I don't know. I'm not used to doing this kind of longer form stuff except for in person. And so I'm just going to try to imagine what you all are wondering and just explain to you what I'm thinking based on what I think you're wondering. So kind of a cool remote relationship, I guess. Guitar can be done in a number of different ways. It could be transferred from folk to folk, and that's what we're doing right now, folk transfer, with a little bit of data, extra data, or extra, I don't even know enough about physics to talk about that, but anyway, thanks for coming by, and until next time, happy picking.